All right, you guys voted for it, so here it is. This box contains everything needed to do an oil change on my Volkswagen Jetta. All right, so here it is. This is an oil change kit from ECS Tuning. As you can see, it comes with a quart and then a 5-quart of Liquimoly 5W40 motor oil. I ordered a can of the anti-friction. It also came with an oil filter, and then it came with a factory drain plug and an O-ring, but we don't want that junk because I bought an ECS Tuning one with a little magnet on the end, and then it also came with 10 brand new crush washers. All right, so I have one of my crush washers and my ECS Tuning drain plug. We will not be using the factory one, but to get the factory one off, you will need a T45 Torque socket. And then for the oil filter, you can use 1.25 inch here, or I believe it is a 32mm socket as well. I have some brake parts cleaner, and then you will need a funnel. Okay, so it is 2:31 and we have a car meet tonight at 6 p.m. So we're gonna grab our jack, we're gonna grab our oil pan, we are going to jack this thing up and begin to drain the old oil out of it. Okay, so now that the car is in the air, you take your T45 here and we're gonna crawl underneath the car. Okay, so this right here is your oil drain plug. You can note that it is next to your oil pressure sensor. This is your transmission on the driver's side. So you want to make sure that you're not looking for the drain plug on this and draining your transmission fluid, that you get your oil pan. And then a good way to get your oil to drain faster is to pull out your fill cap. And now we are going to move on to getting the filter out. A bit overkill, and it is a little bit big of a socket, or I'll wrap it. But I am a big forklift diesel mechanic, so this is the smallest I got for this socket. But now that you've loosened that up, try your best to not make a mess here. Now, for this part, I recommend a pick because you are going to have to take this gasket off here and put this new one on. And then you always want to make sure, I have some oil on my fingers here. Make sure you re-lube this, because when you tighten it back down, you do risk tearing it if you do not put some lubrication on there. Okay, and now you can take this, set it back in there, and screw it down. So, just to let you guys know, this is torqued down to 25 Newton meters. Because it is plastic, you can over torque it and break the plastic. So be sure to torque this down to spec. Okay, so now that you can see we are down to a slow trickle, I am going to show you guys a trick that I seen from an Audi tech online. So in an oil change kit, they always give you just a little bit of extra oil. So what I do, so I poured literally just a splash down in there, and then we will come pay attention down here until it starts to run out the fresh green oil. And that's just to flush, I'm using finger quotes. They do make an engine oil flush. That is just to flush the engine of all of the old contaminants. Okay, so it is kind of hard to see, but this does have a green hue to it now, and the stream has picked up just a little bit, saying that the new engine oil has finally filled all the way down through the engine and is leaking out right here. So let's put on our new drain plug. So I have our brand new drain plug here. We're gonna make sure to come and put a brand new crush washer on there, and then we will install this on the car. And the biggest reason I wanted this instead of a factory one, if you can see, this is actually a hex. This is a actual bolt head instead of a Torx head. You will not strip this out as long as you are using the right size. And it does have a magnet on the end to catch any contaminants that would be inside the engine. I did want to tell you guys, the ECS tuning one is a 14 millimeter, and it is torqued down to 22 foot-pounds or 30 Newton meters. Now we come here and we tighten our drain plug down by hand, and then I like to come and wipe any excess oil off of the area because I want to be able to move my drain pan. Now, as you can see, we have our drain plug in. So I come here and I make sure it gets nice and tight. Now, I always finish by giving everything a good spray down with some brake clean. Then you come and you just wipe it all back off. Now, you have a nice clean oil pan, and you can ensure that you will not have any drips on your floor, making you think that your car is leaking oil. So now that you are sure that your drain plug is tight, you can also notice your car is still on the jack. In order to read a proper oil level off the dipstick, you will need your car off the jack and flat on the ground. So you come here and you slowly twist your handle and put your car back on the ground. So now, when pouring oil, I always pull my dipstick out some because it does allow the head and everything to properly breathe, so you do not burp and overflow the head while you are filling. So a cool thing about Liqui-Moly is, maybe if I can get it out here, they have their own pour spouts on their oil jugs, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Now, always try to check in between, because if you overfill your engine, it's hard to take some out, but if you underfill it, you can always put more in. And then once you have confirmed that your oil is full on the stick, you can reinsert your stick back in there. Now, if you're like me, you like to take care of your engine and you put some anti-friction in. Just supposed to keep everything super lubricated. So, to sum up what this says, it basically ensures immediate friction and wear reduction, adds an extremely protective and pressure-resistant boundary layer with low friction, and lubricates during cold starts to prevent damage and lack of oil. Now, this is good for up to 3 to 6 liters, and this engine takes 5.8 quarts or 5.5 liters. Now, I like to do the same thing here that I did down there, and that is to spray and wipe all of this down from any excess oil that may have dripped or leaked somewhere, because otherwise you are going to smell burning oil and it'll just look all gunked up when you're done. Okay, so now that we have changed the oil, there's only one thing left to do. I like to come and cycle it a few times before we start it. All right, so now we are gonna let the car run and get up to operating temperatures, but as I showed you, it took me an hour with making a YouTube video. So, as you can see, it says my oil change is 279 days overdue. Clearly, I'm well overdue on an inspection as well, so I'm going to show you guys how to reset that. So your first step is to turn the ignition off. Then you come and you hold this button here, which resets your trip as well, and you turn the ignition on. Do you really want to reset oil change service? You press OK, service reset, and then, all right, so now supposedly it says you can change the oil at 10,000 miles or in 372 days. Never, ever, ever go by that. That is wrong. I change my oil every 4,500 to 5,000 miles, which some people would still even say is overdue. So do not follow what Volkswagen says. You'll blow your shit up. Everybody also gets annoyed with that damn pesky inspection due, and it does not actually clear your trip here. Everyone hates that pesky inspection due. So you turn your hazards on. I know it sounds like I'm bullshitting you. You hold down that same reset button here. You turn the key on. And then it says, do you really want to reset inspect service? You click OK. Service reset. Now you can turn your hazards off. Now, if you look, inspection, 18,700 miles or 365 days. And now every time you start the car, it will not say inspection due. I've never seen anybody else cover this, so I figured I would because I know it annoys the hell out of me. Okay, and that is how you change the oil on your 2014 Volkswagen Jetta with the Gen 3 engine. If you have the Gen 1 engine, you have a screw-on style filter, and I cannot help you. So basically the same process, different oil filter. But I do really hope you guys enjoyed it. We have a car meet to get to in 2.5 hours, so I'm going to clean this car up, and that will be in a different video. Peace out, and have a great rest of your guys' night.